What's up, traders? This is Matt with Conservative Trades coming at you with another episode in the Paper Trade Diaries. Today, we are looking at SAVA. It's about 10:45 right now, and this is one of those stocks that, well, first of all, look, it's got a pretty heavy short float interest, right? 24.58%, basically 25% short interest on this stock. And again, it's kind of like we were talking about yesterday when we were, talking about sympathy plays and sympathy momentum. And for those of you who don't know what that is, typically, sympathy momentum is something that happens when one stock ends up, let's just say, getting pumped. Other stocks of a similar nature or in a similar sector will also follow suit and all of a sudden start pumping up. We've seen this with even Bitcoin and all these other cryptocurrencies follow suit. We've seen this in the pot stocks. With the pot stocks, one pot stock starts getting bought up and everybody thinks, oh no, all these other pot stocks are going to get bought up, and they start buying them up. I think the same thing is happening here with stocks that seem to have a heavier short float. Now, look, 25% short float interest is not super high, right? Typically, when you see a short interest of 40 to 60%, kind of like we were talking about the other day with Bed Bath & Beyond. Bed Bath & Beyond had a 66.85% short float interest. I mean, that definitely is, can make for a good short squeeze, especially if people are doing, banding together like they were doing, on Reddit last week with GameStop, right? And you saw other stocks following suit like AMC and BlackBerry. And so anyway, it's very possible. It's very possible that what we are seeing right now is a continuation of some of that. It's kind of like we were talking about yesterday with, what was it, THCB? Was it THCB? Is that the one that I traded yesterday? Yeah. It was very similar with that one. That one had a heavy short interest, right? So SAVA, SAVA, it's kind of a similar. I wonder if a similar thing is going on with that. Now, it did have good news today. Article came out saying that they improved cognition and behavior in Alzheimer's disease in interim analysis of open label study. So, there's some good news behind it. But you have to be wondering, like all these other guys that were maybe hedging, into SAVA, shorting it as a hedge or whatever, seeing what happened with GameStop last week and seeing that this gapped up today and it opened up. I mean, you have to wonder how many of these people are getting nervous and just kind of getting out of their positions just in case, right? You just have to wonder. And I looked here on the daily chart, and on the daily chart, it tapped up this morning around 45.70. So it kind of came up to these levels back here. And I think that if it breaks high of day, it's probably got room to run up to anywhere from 49 to, maybe even up to 53. I mean, really, the sky's the limit on these types of stocks right now, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take position here, and I'm probably going to just jump in with, something lower, maybe just 200 shares. And I'll let it drop all the way down here. Obviously, I think if it cracks low of day, it's probably going to end up just dumping, right? It could be that the sympathy momentum is dying off, but I think it's worth at least trying. So I'm going to be basically, if I get in here at $38, let's say, let's go ahead and get in $38 with 200 shares, long 200 at $38. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, hey, we've got to stop down here. Look at that. It jumped all the way up to 39.05. We've got to stop down here, we'll say, at 35, 34.96, because that's kind of where this bottom was. So let's say if it cracks under 35, or under, 34.99. So if this comes all the way back down here, I'm going to get out, and I'll get out with about a $600 loss, right? But what I really want to do is I want to see if this 200 shares can break through high of day at 45 and get some solid momentum, maybe even, run all the way up to test that 49 level. And I think if it does that, I think if I can hold these 200 shares, then I'll make a roughly about $2,000. And I may not hold it, like if it breaks high of day, but it's looking weak, and it doesn't look like it's really going to keep going, maybe if it's like looks like it's going to form a double top or something, then I'll get out. I'll get out with maybe just I don't know, maybe a $1,000, $1,200, $1,400 win. But I think I stand to do pretty well. I think the risk to reward, profit loss ratio is pretty good. And so we'll see. But I'm going to go ahead and pause the video here, and I'll chime back in either when, number one, it takes me out here at my stop, or if it breaks high of day, and maybe, who knows, maybe I'll start piecing out 100 shares at a time after that point. So we'll see. But I'll meet you back here in a few. All right, guys, so I'm going to check back in with you real quick. So I'm actually going to average into my position here at 36. If this can drop down to 36, I want to pick up another 200 shares. And I'll tell you why. Right now, we have what I would consider a pretty superficial sell-off. A pretty superficial sell-off. And it may not even make it back down here to the 36. But you can see, with the sell volume here, it barely got over the buy volume here. We're still riding up on some pretty good buy volume right now. And I figured if this can continue with just a very superficial low volume sell off, then I'd like to pick up another 200 shares here at $36. We would make it a 400 share or $37 average on those 400 shares. But it doesn't look like we're going to get that, actually. So I'm hoping that we do. And then I would still keep my stop down here. I'd be risking a little bit more. I would end up losing potentially around $800. But I think it's a superficial sell-off. I really do. I think the buy volume is going to continue to step back in and gradually pump up this price. I could be wrong, but that tends to be that's my current analysis, we'll say. So I am going to keep this here, and I'm going to try to purchase another 200 shares. Again, bring it down to a $37 average on those 400 shares, and then I'll just keep my stop below the $35 mark. I'll check back in with you soon. I'm going to pause the video for now, and we'll see how this pans out. Checking back in with you guys real quick. As you can see, this is starting to pump up. We're going to see if this is just going to be a double top on the day. And never came quite down. If you look down here, never quite came down and got my order at 36. So let's see. So I'm in long 200 at 38. So here's what I want to do. I want to check the longer time frames right now. The 15-minute. Let's look at the 30-minute. Yeah, and then let's look at the hour. See what we're looking at on the hour. So yeah, so here's the thing. If it drops below that 35.60 level, 35.55, what have you, I think that's going to be a good place to go ahead and get out. So it's the previous 30-minute candle. If it drops below that previous 30-minute candle, that's where my stop is going to be. Let me see if I can get a little confirmation on that. Yeah, because that would essentially be where it meets with that 9 EMA on the 15-minute. So it would have to break through there and lose that 9 EMA to finally take me out. So I'm risking right now about $2.50 on 200 shares. All right, so I'm risking about $500 right now to make potentially a couple thousand, hopefully. Anywhere from, we'll say, like I said earlier, maybe 12, 1400 all the way up to a couple thousand, just depending on what the technicals are showing me and depending on how much momentum I feel like we can get to the upside today on this. So I'll check back in with you a little later. Okay, guys. Well, so a couple things have happened here, and I wanted to start recording when this happened, but I actually had another meeting I had to get into, so I wasn't able to. But as you can see, it never came down to my stop, which was initially, I think, down here at low of day. I moved my stop up to here, actually, and I took profit here. I wanted to mark this line right here, right at $48. I took profit. I got out the first 100 shares at $48 for $1,000. So, guys, so far so good. I mean, this has pretty much gone exactly the way that I was predicting this was going to go, and it's just continuing to squeeze up. If we look here on the daily, so it has moved all the way up to roughly $57. So yeah, kind of came up to these levels here. Not quite these levels up here, but I think it very could potentially go to $60 today. And so I'm going to look here on the longer time frames once again, and I'm just going to say that where would I need to move my stop up to? So reasonably, let's see, 30 minutes. Reasonably, I mean, I think it could pull all the way back to 44 before ramping back up. I mean, I would say at that point it would probably be weak enough to fall. It's a pretty big sell-off. This previous 15-minute sell-off candle is the biggest 15-minute sell-off candle of the day. But let's look at the 5-minute. Let me just see what I want to do here. I like to analyze all the different time frames. I think it's very critical to analyze the different time frames. You're going to get a little bit of different information. So it looks like the buy volume starting to pick back up here, and it's staying pretty, it's buy volume staying pretty high, and the sell volume seems like it's weakening. So here's what I'm going to do. I will say, at the break of 44, I'm going to go ahead and get out the last 100 shares. And so that will give me essentially, we'll say the break of it, so 43.99. Oftentimes it'll tap on the whole number and then get bought right back up. I could see it, kind of crushing through that 9 EMA a little and then getting bought right back up. And so I'm going to give it an opportunity to work itself out. That will still give me roughly, let's see, 38 to 44. I cannot do math for the life of me today. I think that'll give me an extra $600 on those last 100 shares that I have right now. Otherwise, I'll set an alert. I want to be alerted if this gets back up to high of day. So I'll go ahead and set an alert at 56, and I'll be ready to take the final profit, the final 100 shares off at 58. Like I said, I think 60 would be a good point of resistance for this today. So yeah, I'd be fine to take off the last 100 shares at 58, and that would give that would be a $20 gain on the last 100 shares. That would be an extra $2,000. That would give me a $3,000 profit on the day. So let's see what it does, and I'll report back. All right, guys, checking back in with you here, and you can see we just tapped up on that $58 mark. So it never came back down to $44. Let's see what it looks like on the 5-minute here. Yeah, it's just been riding that 9 EMA real nice all the way up there. So, guys, man, the sky's the limit for this one today. But yeah, we're out the last 100 shares. Let's see, out last 100 at $58 for $2,000 on those last shares. Just got a $20 move on 100 shares. This is what I love about conservative trading. Just taking a conservative share size and letting the trade play out. Again, this is a strategy that I've been testing for a while now, and I'm going to continue to test. But this has been a good week so far, because as of right now we are up $3,000 on the day. If you plus add the $1,800 from yesterday, you can go check out yesterday's video. That obviously equals $4,800 on the week. So yeah, very, very happy with how these trades have turned out, and hopefully you guys are enjoying the Paper Trading Diaries or the Paper Trade Diaries, what have you. Hopefully you're enjoying just seeing these strategies and just hearing me talk through them, and just trying to provide opportunity for you guys to kind of get inside my head a little bit to see what I'm looking at, how I'm viewing these things, where I'm putting my stops and why I'm putting my stops there, and when I'm raising my stops and why I'm raising them, and looking at the different time frames. And hopefully this is good information for you guys as well. I'll tell you right now though, we just got out of the first or the biggest buy volume bar on the day. I mean, this, I tell you what, guys, as we were talking about earlier, this could be a massive short squeeze. I mean, who knows? I mean, we could get all the way up here and break 73.30, and then, sky is the limit. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see where this is going. But as a day trader, I'm in and out on my trade. I'm done with my trade. I have no need to, or no reason to stay in this any longer. I feel like I've done very well today. The strategy has worked very well. And again, I hope you guys are enjoying it. So anyway, like the video, comment, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Let me know if you're enjoying the strategy and enjoying learning. Let me know if you have any questions about the strategy, and hopefully I'll be back here soon enough to answer some of those questions for you guys. But have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you when I see you.